Welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. With over 20 years of real estate experience and selling over 150 homes a year, Laura Sanders is the #1 RE/MAX agent in the state of Florida for 2021. Join us each week as we discuss how to make money through buying and flipping homes to renting versus selling and everything in between. To join the conversation, call in live. 888-994-4995, Studio A.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. Every week, we talk about something that will help you make a little money, save a little money, or maybe just help you navigate this crazy world we live in. And boy, oh boy, is it crazy. Well, today, we're going to be talking about contracts. We're going to be talking about contract law with Nick Fiorello with JK Closing Attorneys, and I have a very special treat for you today. I have brought one of my nieces onto the show. Her name is Brianna Sanders. She is from Staten Island, so they don't go back to school till September, and she's going to tell you about her week that she's been spending with me, where she's fluent in Russian, and she's been talking to my Russian clients. She's been helping me clean bathrooms, and she's going to tell you all about it in between our conversation today with Nick about contract law. Welcome, Nick. And welcome, Brianna. Hi. So today we're going to talk about contract law, and Nick and I talk a lot on the phone for deals that we're doing because they are one of the premier real estate attorneys firms in the area. They do a lot of deals with a lot of top agents with Compass, RE/MAX, you name it, they're doing business with us. And one of the misconceptions that we've seen lately is when a realtor puts on the contract on or before a closing date. So, Nick, tell us, what is the purpose of putting either a closing date or on or before? Why you should or shouldn't do that?
Well, I feel like the last couple of times I've been on the show, we've been beating a dead horse on these dates and times and deadlines and everything. So it's a good thing that we're talking about it because it's super important. And going to the closing date, when the contract has a blank, you can put whatever you want on there as a closing date that's agreed upon by the parties. It says on there, closing shall take place on blank. A lot of agents will add in there or before date. So when there's a agreed upon closing date, so let's say we're on the 19th right now. So let's say there's a closing date of next Friday. We'll just go with that, which is the 28th. So let's just say there's a closing date of the 28th on the contract. If it says on or before the 28th, the closing date is still the 28th. It's a common misconception that people and parties to a contract think that if it says on or before, a party can just choose to close unilaterally whenever they want before, if everything, met. But that requires mutual agreement between the parties. No party has unilateral power to hijack the closing date and make it whatever date they want. On or before means it can take place prior to that date that's provided, but only upon mutual agreement.
Well, I think the misconception sometimes is listen, I'm from New York. My niece is from New York. We have a lot of New Yorkers here. And the way that they do contracts in New York is very different than the way we do contracts here. The way they do contracts in like Georgia, for instance, which that's why we have to be very specific. If you close on a property in Georgia, typically you don't have to be out for another month or a week. Like they usually let you post-occupy. It's part of the transaction. It's written in the transaction. There's no charge for it. It's included in the purchase price. Where here, you are to be out the morning of no later than usually 9 o'clock or the night before, where you do a walkthrough, where you're out of the property and it's broom, swept, clean. So you're not obligated to close little nail holes. You're not obligated to paint. You are obligated to leave your mounts onto the walls for the TVs, mirrors that are in bathrooms, those kind of things. So there's a lot of misconceptions. So where recently we had a deal where the lender said they're clear to close. So now they're saying, well, if you don't close now, which is like 40 days before the actual closing date, they're saying you're risking that we will not be able to close in 40 days. So let's talk about that, and where does that put the seller?
Well, going back on
Typically.
what you said.
So
Going back on what.
yeah, okay,
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
All right. So going back to what you said first, New York, Georgia, whatever it may be, these are different states. There's one key term in our contract that we've touched on previous weeks that we've talked on the show, and it's time is of the essence. That means deadlines are absolute. That means when a deadline comes, it cannot be passed. It's not fluid. It is that day at, typically it expires at 11:59 and 59 seconds. Right when the clock strikes midnight, we go to the next day. That deadline is now passed. So whether that be the loan approval period, inspection period, appraisal, anything that can be done, if you're silent going past that date, then you're accepting the risk moving forward. So because time is of the essence, that is strict, absolute, no fluidity there.
So for our fellow agents that are listening to this, today is the 19th, whatever today is. Let's say today is the 19th of August, right? I'm just making dates up, right? So today is the 19th of August. And the loan commitment's due today. And you don't hear from anybody. Is it the listings agent's responsibility to ask for that loan commitment? Is it the buyer's agent or the lender's responsibility to provide the loan commitment? Where do we stand with that?
It's definitely not on the seller. Any buyer loan obligation is on the buyer. The buyer is the one that, pursuant to the contract, must provide notice under the loan approval section of the contract that they either obtain loan approval and they're moving forward, obviously because they obtain loan approval. They haven't obtained loan approval, but they're confident in the fact that they will get loan approval prior to closing, so they are moving forward. They cannot meet the terms of loan approval and are terminating the contract, or haven't obtained loan approval by the loan approval date and are not, and are terminating the contract, not moving forward. So there's 4 different kinds of notice that must be given prior to that 11:59, 59 seconds at night on the day the loan approval period ends, which is negotiated at the onset of the transaction. So if that notice is not given, it becomes a cash deal. So
if they give it 3 days later after the loan commitment's due, is it still now a cash deal?
Yeah, it's a cash deal, 100%. It needs to be in writing. Notice needs to be in writing to the seller, the seller's representatives, by the buyer or the buyer's representatives. And in writing per the contract means email. It cannot be a text message.
Guys, this is really important. If you're writing contracts, you're selling real estate, JK Closings does trainings all the time on contract law. And listen, I've been doing this for 20-something years, and I still ask questions over and over because the contract's changed multiple times. I believe the contract was rewritten again in 2024 or 2025. You need to be staying up to date with this. This is like really, it's honestly no joke. It means the difference between getting that loan approval period written in writing by email, right? Tell them the difference between getting it and not getting it. Explain the difference to our audience.
Well, so if you're a seller, you don't want to say anything. You want the buyer to fill their obligation to have to provide that notice. If the loan approval section of the contract is checked and it's not a cash deal, this is super crucial for the buyer. Basically, if the buyer does give notice, whether it is they're moving forward because they have loan approval, or if they don't have loan approval yet, but they're confident in their ability to get loan approval, it preserves a couple different things for them to be able to back out of the contract at a later date. And those preservations are if the seller defaults, then they can get their deposit back, or if there's property-related condition regarding the loan. So if you're in a condo, you can't obtain insurance because, for whatever reason, because of the property, then that would be a property-related condition, and they can use that to get out of the contract after the loan approval period ends. If they do not give that notice and they waive that ability because it's a cash deal, and there ends up being a problem with insurance later on, and they don't get the loan because they do not get insurance, then they can't use that as a way out of the contract. They've accepted the fact that the contract's moving forward as a cash deal, and they accept the risk with that, and they move forward because they weren't prompt with, and they didn't follow the time is of the essence. And the issue is a lot of people from other states kind of go with that fluid approach where it's like a wave and things just ebb and flow with the transaction, and things don't work like that.
Right. Well, we're going to go to commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk real quick with Brianna Sanders. Let her tell you what it was like to be with me for this past week in my car or with my flat tire, in a different car, in a rental car. And then we'll get back to the contract writing. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
At JK Closing Attorneys, we do all of the same things that a title company does, but with the benefits of being a law office. We can help with residential real estate, short sales, commercial real estate, refinances, 1031 exchanges, and FRIPTA withholding.
Contact JK Closing Attorneys today at 954-332-3111. Again, that is 954-332-3111.
Priority One Credit Union of Florida is a welcoming credit union that makes your financial success our #1 priority. We offer lower loan rates, higher deposit rates, and common sense local loan approvals, with nationwide access through shared branching.
Hi, I'm Dina Hennessy, President and CEO at Priority One Credit Union. We are open to the community. Anyone can be a member of our credit union, and we would love to have you.
Contact us today at 954-335-5100. You can also reach us at PriorityOneFL.org. Your financial success is our priority. That's 954-335-5100.
You have been watching Making Money with Laura. For more information, contact Laura Sanders at 954-650-0827 or visit her website at theloracell.com. And now back to the show.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. I'm here today talking with Nick Fiorello from JK Closing Attorneys about contract law and things for you to look out for. But at the same time, I thought, let's just take a short little break. And I have my niece. Her name is Brianna Sanders. She lives in Staten Island, and she has been blessed to be with me this entire week driving all over South Florida. So I said to her, if I had you on the show, hopefully you'll say good things. But tell us a little bit about your experience this week. You came in on Thursday. I picked you up early in the morning, and it's definitely been interesting. I have to say, I'm super impressed. She speaks fluent Russian, and she's been talking with my clients. She's actually been talking with clients that speak Ukrainian. It's been awesome. So tell us how it's been this week.
Yeah, that's really interesting. But this week has been really stressful. You work a lot, and I feel like just getting a little snippet of how the entire business works really interesting. Even though you're making all the appointments, calls, meetings, I'm just tired of even looking at how much you're working and all the things that happen outside of work that people don't see. It's just been a big learning process for me. It's helped me learn how to be organized, how to get on time with things, and how to deal with people when they're being people. And yeah, it's just really been fun because you've always made time for me to spend time with me and have fun, really.
Yes, I'm definitely trying to throw that in there, which is definitely hard because I am very busy. But I don't think anybody would believe how old you really are based on just how you articulated your week. Tell people how was this morning? What did we do this morning? We went for pictures, and how did that go?
Oh, so this morning, a seller left their house in questionable shape, I'd say. So Laura got down on her knees and started scraping the toilet because the entire toilet was full of dirt and just not something that you'd want your house to be full of. Yeah. The house didn't smell the best either.
Oh, really? I missed that part. But the house does have tremendous bones, great potential, right?
Potential after you fix it.
Yeah. But you've seen all different price ranges. Like, I feel like you're starting to get a feel for numbers. Do you feel like that?
Yeah, I feel like, but also numbers like the house size. You could buy a house for 1.5 million in Boca or whatever, and then in a different area it could also be 1.5 million, but it's 10 times bigger the house, I feel like.
That's true. You see that there's its desirability.
Mm-hmm.
So anything else that like stuck out to you this week that you just found interesting in the real estate industry?
One thing I found very funny actually was if someone speaks a different language than you, like you said, the Russians.
Yeah.
Like you never know what they're saying to their like partner or whatever in a different language. For example, the woman was complaining about the house to the husband, and it was really funny to watch how like she wouldn't say it to you, but like she just complained about like different parts of the house, but then she liked one of the houses and the husband didn't like it. It's like funny to watch how like people like different houses that
it happens all the time with husbands and wives where one likes and one doesn't like. So, well, I want to thank you and your sister. Her sister did not want to be on. Brittany did not want to be on, but Brittany has definitely they've been switching front and back seats of the car all day long for tomorrow will be 7 days that they've been with me. So they're probably exhausted. And probably next time we'll think twice before saying they want to come hang out with their Aunt Laura. So, but they have been wonderful. So I just want to say that. And back to you, Nick.
I'm here.
Did you hear all the things that they got to do? I mean, they've been in houses for 1.8 million, and then they've been in condos for like 200,000. I think that it's just definitely been an eye opener for them to see all the different homes and the price, like, and they look at one house, they're like, well, this should be like 1.8. I'm like, nope, this is 1.5. They're like, but that was 1.5 and that should be like 800. And they were very, what?
I think she was underplaying how much you guys actually did.
Oh no, we did a lot. We definitely did a lot. She did, but this morning I was on my hands and knees scrubbing a toilet because it just wasn't showing in Laura Sanders' condition. And, I'm very particular. I do the best I can, and I want to get every client the most money possible. So that's very important to me. So let's go back to the contract. So, you had, basically sent to me, basically stating that poor planning doesn't mean leverage, right? So you said that a buyer's expiring rate lock or internal lender issues are not the seller's problems. The buyer is protected by the loan approval period, inspection period, and any other contingencies. My biggest concern about the contract is a lot of times I feel like our contracts here are just not binding. And I feel like it's hard if somebody fails to perform. Like right now I have a deal where somebody's made an offer. They only want to put $5,000 down in escrow. They originally said they wanted to contingent on the sale of their home. So now I'm concerned that if they don't sell their home, they're just going to walk away from $5,000.
They could, but that doesn't depends on the situation. But a lot of the time, part of the only remedy for a seller to go after a buyer is to claim the deposit. And that's why, when you're negotiating a contract, it is important to ask for a higher deposit than, $5,000 is a lot of money. But some people might walk away from it, but they also could tie it up where if the buyer does not agree to release that, then it's in the interpleader or it's in escrow, and then the closing agent, whoever's holding the escrow agent, has to file an interpleader action with the court system. And by the time that action's filed, the attorney's fees are going to be taken out of that deposit. And if it's awarded, let's say the buyer doesn't even respond, the seller could walk away with half of that. After all the,
it's not even worth going after, right? So, my thing is like, and it's funny, like how the agent's like, well, they don't want to put any more money down, and I'm like, there's no skin in the game.
No, I mean, it depends on. I mean, that's a lot of money. So for anybody, $5,000 is a large chunk of change, but yeah, it becomes not worth it if it's $5,000. Maybe $10,000 is still on a lower end of a deposit, but it makes it a lot more worth it to go for. But yeah, I mean, some people, like you said, they just will eat that. I had one where $10,000 was sitting in escrow for 2.5 years, and the closing agent came back to me and they said, "What are we doing here?" And I said, "The seller wants the money." We put the seller and the buyer in touch with each other. They figured it out. We didn't have to go to mediation. There was no interpleader. There was nothing.
Well, after all that time, why wouldn't you just split it? I mean, split it. You go your way, I go my way. Like, if you've let it sit that long.
I got contacted today on $10,000 that has been held in escrow for 2.5 years. The buyer just vanished. It was towards New Year's. The buyer apparently went into the hospital and then got released from the hospital. They didn't want to purchase anymore. There's still $10,000 being held in escrow by one of our escrow agents locally.
Wow. Okay. What's a good number if somebody's looking for a lawyer to help them to manage all these fiascos?
Definitely a lot of fiascos, but you can call our office line 954-779-5000, and you can email our legal department at legal@jkclosings.com, or if you'd like to email me separately, you can email me at nick@jkclosings.com.
And I recommend emailing Nick, because then I know that Nick got it. And if you ever have trouble getting a hold of anybody or you're not being responded to, just because sometimes things fall through the cracks, call me and I will connect you personally with one of the attorneys at JK Closings. And of course, like always, if you're looking for a top agent, somebody that looks out for you will clean your toilets for you. Not intentionally, but would clean your toilets for you. You definitely want to give me a call. Laura Sanders, RE/MAX Direct, 954-650-0827. And Brianna, do you have any last words to tell us today? Because we're running out of time. Anything else you want to share with us about your experience or just about real estate in general? Or you just want to tell everybody they should use your aunt for their real estate needs because it would be their best choice?
Honestly, I don't really have much to say, but yeah, use my aunt. She's like the best, like honestly, best real estate she's the top real estate agent in the city, or?
Yeah, number one in Coral Springs.
Yeah, number one in Coral Springs.
Yes.
Can't you see that? Like literally, she's the best. Just use her. It's not that hard. Just call her up. She just said her number.
954-650-0827. And Nick, do you have any last words to talk about the contract?
Sure to follow deadlines. Follow the advice of your realtor. After you vetted a good realtor like Laura, pick a good realtor and make sure you're on top of all the deadlines, because the deadlines are super important, as we've discussed over and over and over again. It's very, very important to follow the deadlines, especially if you're from New York or another state where it's not like.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole New York thing and how their dates are like on or about. It's very confusing. Like, people find us confusing. I find them confusing, but what do I know?
We're a lot more absolute, And then another thing, don't be bullied by somebody else. Don't be bullied by the other side of the action. Don't be bullied. Stand your ground, because if they have no merit to their argument, they're just going to act more aggressive and more ridiculous. And if you stand your ground, they will fold eventually, hopefully, for the most part.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say anymore about any of that. That the way that people talk about things, it just kind of blows my mind that people come back and say, well, you need to do this. That's not what the contract says. So anyway, like always, I want to thank everybody for watching and listening to Making Money with Laura Sanders. And if you need a realtor, check me out on the web, laurasell.com, or you can call me at 954-650-0827. And yes, I have just found out for like 8 or 9 years in a row, I am the number one realtor in Coral Springs. I do all over. I sell in Boca, I sell in Coral Springs, Parkland, you name it. I do all of Broward and Palm Beach, and I can help you get top dollar for your house. So again, give me a call, Laura Sanders, RE/MAX Direct. And like always, Make it a great one, and thank you for watching and listening to Making Money with Laura Sanders.
Thank you for tuning in for Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. To join the conversation, call us at the studio, 888-994-4995 Studio A, or contact Laura directly at 954-650-0827. Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. We look forward